Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is July 22nd. Right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You got BC, Washington, Oregon here. Check out the spin out over the Gulf of Alaska. This trough has its eyes on the Pacific Northwest. Could even bring some precipitation west of the Cascades here. And it's definitely going to cool down the Pacific Northwest. We'll take a look at those details here coming up in a moment. This is the visible satellite imagery. And you can see that marine layer all the way in, much of the Puget Sound down towards the Portland Metro. You can see it starting to burn back here as we go through the morning hours and the coastline there as well, also burning back to some extent. Some convection even over some of the higher terrain of BC as that weak system moves through here. But this is the one all eyes are on here as we go through this weekend and towards early next week. We'll take a look at those details coming up here in a moment. Closer look at things here, and you can see some of that fire smoke down here across the southwest Oregon area here, drifting some smoke to the north, but not too bad overall. Most of the smoke remains central. Northern BC and off east of the Rockies as well. But you can see that convection firing up there across some portions of western central BC there as we go through this morning. Now taking a look at the HRRR, you can see some of the smoke drifting around, but you can see the general onshore flow here, keeping places like the Seattle Metro and Portland Metro, a lot of the Washington, Oregon coast, pretty much smoke free. You can see some of the fires across BC drifting off to the east here as well. Nothing too crazy there unless you're in the general vicinity of that fire there across southwest Oregon. And if you guys want a nice affordable home weather station, you probably heard about me talking about this, all solar powered, wireless, and it's a great smartphone app. Click on that link down below to save 10% on that. Look at Seattle yesterday, 82 degrees, 4 degrees above average. Nice glorious day, and we may put an end to this precipitation drought we've been in here across the region. No promises just yet, still a little bit of fantasy forecast here, but we're watching it closely. Much more detail on that here in a moment. Look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. The haven here is the Pacific Northwest, clearly, as the rest of the country during this time frame is supposed to be above average here. So yeah, check it out. Pacific Northwest, another benefit of living here. This is looking at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet, and this is why that is the case. You can see this trough out over the Gulf of Alaska here, pinwheeling around and bringing some onshore flow. You can see it move through the reach, and there really as we go through early next week, and kind of a 1-2 shot of another little weak trough still hanging around here, bringing some additional onshore flow here as we go on in through the midweek period. This is looking at the upper levels of the atmosphere, 10,000 feet, and you can see this big warm area here across the desert southwest, setting records down there, but this is what is going to keep the Pacific Northwest a little bit below average here for a couple days at least. And as you can see, that trough pinwheeling around, sending some cooler air aloft in towards the Pacific Northwest, keeping us from really warming up here. This is looking at 850 millibars, 5,000 feet. You can see BC, Washington, Oregon here. The red and this yellow means above average conditions here, but you can see the trough knocking on the door here as we go through early next week. Big changes coming here as we go through the Monday to Tuesday morning time frame, possibly bringing a frontal system or two across the region as well. And we'll take a look at that here in some detail. This is looking at the European control run here. You can see that precip moving across BC, some convection this morning. And then here we go. This is the system to watch out here, and you can see it casting this frontal system here as we go through Monday night into Tuesday morning, maybe even down for the Seattle Metro here. Lower chances the further you go south toward Portland here, but maybe the Oregon, Washington coast getting some nice rainfall across the Cascades. BC, pretty much a sure bet at this point that you're going to get some rain from this system as it moves through here, and then kind of remaining some onshore flow here and some troughing still hanging around, but we'll watch that as we get closer to it. This is a little bit closer look at the 500 millibar heights here on the NAM. This is the North American model, 12 kilometer, a little bit lower resolution here than the 3 kilometer run, and you can see that trough clearly coming in here. Good model agreement with the timing of this trough coming in Monday night with this frontal system potentially reaching western Washington Monday night into Tuesday morning. This is looking at the GFS to see what it has to say. And we'll speed up ahead a bit here. Here we go into Monday. Now we're into Monday morning, and you can see the system trying to bring some precip here, mainly Seattle north up through Bellingham, southwest BC, Cascades, and the coastal areas here. But we're crossing our fingers we get some measurable precip Seattle south towards Portland as well. We'll see how this trends here over the next couple of days. We still have some time to watch it here, so we'll see how that goes. This is Everett, Payne Field, and you can see some of the ensemble members do have measurable precipitation here. The mean mean is around 1/10 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. The control run not calling for a lot right now, but that can change easily. Seattle Metro here, kind of about where we were yesterday. Some of the ensembles showing that measurable precipitation. The control run not bullish on a lot here, but look at this. Ensemble member number 12 actually shows just over an inch of rain in a 24-hour period. That would be something. That would set an all-time July record rainfall, but that's extremely unlikely to happen. It's probably less than 1% chance really as of right now. This is looking at Vancouver, BC. Check it out. The rainfall potential does grow the further you go north towards the Vancouver area here. 3/10 of an inch showing up in the control on the mean, just over 3/10 of an inch as well, with virtually all the ensembles showing some measurable precipitation up for some southwest BC. Spokane, sorry, not much help for you there. One of the ensembles has something coming on the 28th. This is Bellingham, pretty good ensemble agreement here, but the control not showing too much here, maybe a few hundredths of an inch here. But yeah, you can see much of the ensembles agree here, but we still have a couple days to watch this. As you can see, a few more days of dry before the system tries to get in here. And this is Portland, lesser amounts. As you go south, the odds start to fall off. A few of the ensembles do have some measurable precip. This is Quileute, Washington Coast. Check it out. The control run up over a half an inch there. If you want to go enjoy a nice rainy day, get out towards the Olympic Mountains there on the west side. You'll definitely get some rain out of the system here coming up. A nice, glorious summer treat here for some of the Washington Coast up into BC, Vancouver Island as well. This is looking at the Spokane Metro. Check it out. This trough is going to cool places down, even west or east of the Cascades, I should say. Look at some of these highs dropping down to the upper 70s here, well below average. You can see the red line, the average for this time of year, then potentially bouncing back through the extended. This is looking at Seattle, again, cooling down with the arrival of that trough as well. Going to get below average, probably a couple, 2-3 days here. This is looking at the daily 2-meter max temperature in the National Blend of Models. And you see, as we go through Saturday, not a bad day here, but Sunday the cool down starts a bit, and then we go to Monday here. Look at that, maybe dropping 10+ degrees for Seattle. Eastern Washington cooling down here by Tuesday, and then maybe the slow climb back up after that. This is looking at 6 to 10 day precipitation probability outlook, and this is now just outside of that frontal system here, so it's not really incorporating that, but you can see kind of a below average signal here across some of Washington, Oregon, 8 to 14 day, kind of including some of the Pacific Northwest here as well. This is a 6 to 10 day, kind of a zoomed in view of what we looked at earlier in the video here, and you can see the Pacific Northwest, the only place supposed to be average or just below average temperatures here during the July 26th to July 30th time frame. This is 8 to 14 day here, and looks like we may bounce back after that in through early August. This is the 7-day significant wildland fire potential here. Look at NW10 as we get in towards Monday. We have the high risk here again across some of the Spokane area, Columbia Basin here. So heads up for that. There is elevated fire risk as well, and you can kind of see your location here. East slopes of the Cascades, not doing too bad, but once you go down towards the eastern Cascades here for Oregon, NW6 and 7 elevated there, NW8, 9, 10, 11, 12, looks like they all have some elevated fire risk coming up here, but looks like Monday, the big day there across some of the Columbia Basin. There was a pretty big fire out there by Ritzville too that I saw yesterday chasing dust devils, or at least it had just been put out near the city there, burned, several acres there. Pretty, those brush fires along the side of the highways can kick up fast, so really watch for chains dragging from vehicles. Don't throw your cigarette butts out your window. Just be really careful out there. It really, burned a lot of area right there near Ritzville, so interesting stuff. This was issued yesterday. Check out the seasonal temperature outlook for August, September, October here. Look at much of the west here, above average expected. This is seasonal precipitation. We're already pretty dry this time of year here. This is about for September, and below average precipitation expected. You can see the muting of the monsoon signal down there across the southwest USA as well. This is all the way out. Take this with a grain of salt, of course. November, December, January. Look at the above average signal here. No doubt driven by the developing El Nino. And this is precipitation for that time frame here too as well. Below average showing up for the Pacific Northwest. And this goes all the way out through April 2024. This is purely just an El Nino signature here as well. But actually, I have pretty good confidence in this. And we're definitely going to be warmer than they were last year. You can say that with about 95% confidence coming up. And this is the seasonal precipitation. Don't put too much stock in that right now. But anyway, yeah, we got this system rolling in here. It's going to cool us down here. Hopefully we can squeeze some precip out here across Seattle, maybe even Portland here. Better chances the further you go north. Get out in towards the Hoh rainforest there if you want a nice rainy treat here as we go through Monday on in through Tuesday here. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.